Hi everyone, it's Tabatha Twitchett here. Today I'm going to talk about cut files, so how to back your cut files. So this is a cut file, just a simple typographic one called Home, and it's cut the edges for me. And when they cut, you also have the middles as well, and all the little pieces that pop out of it. So this is an example of it backed. So if you turn this over, you'll see that obviously it's double-sided, but if you see closely, it's not perfect. It's a little bit rough. It doesn't line up perfectly with the edges. So there's a few different ways of backing a cut file. It's just personal preference of how you kind of measure what's going to fit in the space. So let's pop this one up the top for a minute. Okay. So the first way, I guess you could do it, is you could get the middle parts. So these have come out of the middle of the letter. So that's an approximate size of what kind of paper you need. So we're going to use the Carta Bella Farmhouse Market paper for this. So you could pop it on there and cut around. Super rough. Now what you could then do is grab a pencil and trace around the letter. Oh, actually, you know what? You should have done it on the underside, so it's on the bad side. So I did that a boo-boo. But that's okay, it's double-sided. I don't even know what's on the other side of this one. So just roughly. So there we've got our pencil line, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut just a little bit more than the pencil line. So you've got your pencil line as a guide, and now we're going to go just a little bit more because it's the inside that we traced around. So we want it to go to the edges. Okay. So then we've got the H. So now if I place this under my H, it should fit in that space. Perfect. But you can see now why I said we should draw on the other side, because you don't want to see your pencil line and you don't want to have to go through the hassle of erasing your pencil line. So let's imagine that that was the side we wanted. We would put it underneath and put this on top and see that it fits on there. So how we go about sticking it on is we would flip upside down. Okay, so two ways of doing it. You can either put your glue around the edge of the letter. I prefer to put my glue around the edge of the cut file. So we would just go around. This is Zig two-way glue. I love it because it's got a really nice chisel tip and it works really well with cut files. If I can get any out, I'm probably at the last of my chisel. There we go. Okay, so she's upside down. Now we're going to get the colour that's going to be at the front, and then we just pop it on top and we'll line it up so that it sits within there. Okay, press down and then flip, and that's your first one. So that's one way of doing it. The other way that I like to do it is with the actual stencil. So the reason I like to do it with the stencil is because I can see underneath where the pattern is going to go. Alright, so, oh, this one might be nice too. Is it big enough? Yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? So I can see through the stencil to the pattern. So this time, because we're right side up and you do not want pencil on that pattern to show through, we don't go on the inside, you go around the outside. Okay, so this is almost on the edge already. So we go around the outside. Okay, and because we've gone around the outside, what we do when we cut is that we come in a little bit. So we go in. That's it. And there's our other curve, and we go in. Right, so let's have a look, see if that fits underneath there. Oh, it's pretty good. There's a little bit up the top there. Probably haven't done that curve very well, which is odd. Try again. There we go, that's better. Now remember, the back side doesn't have to be neat. So we can start overlapping to the other one. That's all fine. So the sides are not so bad. So now I just do the O. Make sure I've got it up the right way so your pattern is falling on the right place. Squeeze it over a little bit. Lovely. Beautiful. Look at that. All right, that's our O. Now the third way of doing it, which I find a little bit clunky and I don't love the third way. So let's try this. So the third way would be to stick the paper on without trimming it and then trim it. Okay, so let's say I've got this piece. So I'm going to just cut a piece that I think is going to fit. Let's have a look. Then it's the same. You could line up your pattern to see where you want your pattern to go, what you'd like to see. I would have liked a bit of that blue, but that's okay. All right, so again, put our glue on all the way around. Remember, we can overlap what's already there. Pop him on. Push down to glue. Get that glue fixing. And then we go back. So then we go back and slide our scissors in at an angle and cut into behind. My little scissors don't want to go up there. Okay, cutting in there. So again, on a bit of an angle, we're going to go underneath. Underneath. So this one. Now you can see why I don't like doing it this way, is because I have to hold the whole cut file and I'm a bit wiggly. And if you've got a bigger cut file, it's going to get even more wiggly. So this is probably my least favorite way to do it, but still doable. There we go. You can see I've not really gone in properly there on an angle, so maybe because I'm going left-handed and it's going up. And this is why I find it easier to cut the shape first before gluing it on, because you get a much nicer finish, I think, of the edges. Okay, even this one I think I've not gone in far enough. Right, and finally the E. So we'll do the E and we'll go back to the way that I like to do it. Should we use this one on the E? A bit of green. That looks nice, doesn't it? Now remember, we can see through. So when we see through, we don't go on the inside with the pencil because we don't want to see the pencil line. What we do want to do is go around the outside. Just roughly, doesn't have to be perfect. It's just giving us the basic shape because we're going to cut it a little bit smaller, aren't we? Okay, so then we go in a little bit. In. I'm just going to cut it out of my paper. So we go in a little bit, in a little bit. Now you can see I'm just doing this by eye, so there's not a great deal of science behind it. I like to do my scrapbooking fairly quickly and easily. Okay, oh, got my long bit on. Righty, so this is my E. So what we need to do is make sure it's sitting, oh, I didn't cut that bit off, so it's sitting all inside the E, which it is. So we can flip, just make sure we're going to sit inside. If you find it's going to be overlapping a bit too close, it's pretty close, but you can trim that off a little bit more to make it easier for you when you're lining it up. I'm just going to come off just a teensy bit more there. Teensy, is that a word? And a teensy bit here. Fab. All right. So make sure we've got it up the right way. That was the way. Get our handy dandy glue out. My beautiful chisel glue, which runs along this beautifully. And on she goes. Lovely. And remember, because you've got these letters, it doesn't matter if it overlaps where they're going. And then turn over, and there we have a finished product. So fantastic. So 3 different ways to back a cut file. Find what you're most comfortable with, whether it's tracing this, whether it's going around the shape, or whether you want to back it and then trim it. So 3 different options. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks.